It begins in the gym, where training takes on the form of hard work. And hard work turns to sweat, sweat to desire, and desire to motivation, and motivation to win. The scenario is repeated at gyms across the states, from Hawaii to New Jersey, Florida to California. Now the pilgrimage begins. From all points and by all means, they come to the desert for the ultimate showdown. They come by plane, by train, by bus, RV, or car. No matter how they get here, they do it for one purpose, one goal, one chance to win it all. Over 600 boxers from around 200 boxing clubs from ages 8 to 35. The road ends at Trump 29 Casino, but the journey is just beginning. The time for training is over. It's time to start boxing at the 3rd annual Desert Showdown, and it's coming up next on the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week.
Welcome to the 3rd annual Desert Showdown in the Spotlight Showroom at the Trump 29 Casino. I'm Cherie Woods from All Star Entertainment Productions. The 3-ring Invitational Amateur Boxing Championship will begin in just a few moments. Rob Osmond, the MC of the opening ceremonies, will be with us shortly, providing the punch-by-punch commentary. But first, we'll check in with Rob and the man that put it all together, Ralph Romero.
Ralph Romero is about to make a presentation of a championship belt to a true champion for amateur boxing.
As you know, the Thermal Boxing Club and Trump 29 Casino would like to present you with a championship belt because you are champions. You're doing it for all the sports and community all over. Every place you go, there's big red tonight that you are a true champion. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dan I, gladly accepting the championship belt. He is the driving force behind youth boxing. Earlier in the Boxing Invitational, Ray Delafiandra, the general manager of the Trump 29 Casino, was also awarded a championship belt.
And they are proud sponsors of this organization and of this event. Ralph, would you like to make the presentation?
The Thermal Boxing Club was really gratitude to present the belt to the champions that you guys are. Let all the kids come to your casino, okay? Thank you very much.
It's a great honor. It's a beautiful belt, and on behalf of Chairman Dean Mike and the tribe, we'd like to thank you for this. And we'll put it in a nice place so everyone can see that. And we'd like to congratulate you also on a wonderful event, and we're glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
And now performing the USA and Mexican national anthem, Center Ring, Mariachi Estrella, under the direction of Abel Garcia.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallant. Mire tiembla en su centro la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Mire tiembla en su centro la tierra
Trump 29 Spotlight Showroom is filled to near capacity. The crowd is watching on as the referees, judges, and ringside officials are honored for their hard work and dedication for amateur boxing. Opening ceremonies are wrapping up. We'll take a short break. When we come back, Rob Osmond will bring all the amateur boxing Trump 29 has to offer at the 3rd Annual Desert Showdown on the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week.
The Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week is brought to you by Carl's Jr. When it comes to big, juicy, charbroiled burgers, the name of the game is Carl's Jr. Welcome back to the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week from the Spotlight Showroom at Trump 29 Casino. This is the 3rd Annual Desert Showdown. Up next, we have a battle of 110-pound, 17 to 35-year-old women. Out of the red corner, Priscilla Perez from Coachella Boxing Club, and her opponent out of the blue corner, Celina Moreno from the Los Angeles Youth Activity Center. And this is a semifinal bout. Round 1 underway. Celina Moreno comes into the contest with a great deal of experience, and some sharp blows get things moving early here in the first round. Scoring punches, and that will redden the nose of Priscilla Perez. Celina Moreno taking her toll on Priscilla Perez. Lee Espinoza now coaching Perez to get back into this fight. Celina Moreno clearly separated herself in round number 1. Now here in round number 2, Moreno continues with the onslaught with Perez against the rope. Blood showing from the nose of Perez. And Celina Moreno takes round number 2 as well with some solid scoring shots. And now here in round number 3, Celina Moreno trying to hold on. Priscilla Perez trying to make a valiant comeback, but cannot fight off Celina Moreno thus far. Priscilla Perez now showing the results of a lot of work in the gym, has the strength to continue the bout. But it's a question now of whether it is too little, too late.
Moving to the finals,
because the first 2 rounds from Celina Moreno from LAYAC are going to give her the bout. So Celina Moreno will win the semifinal bout over local favorite Priscilla Perez. We will take a quick break. Come back with more boxing from Trump 29 Casino. This is the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. We'll be right back. This portion of the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week is brought to you in part by QT School Uniforms and Embroidery, providing quality professional work in school uniforms for the Coachella Valley. All-Star Entertainment Productions is proud to welcome QT Uniforms to the Game of the Week family. Welcome back to the Spotlight Showroom in the beautiful Trump 29 Casino and the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. Rob Osmond with you with All-Star Entertainment Productions. Proud to be a part of the 3rd Annual Desert Showdown. And coming up next, we've got 119-pound female fighters in the senior division. In the red corner, Stephanie Pacifici. You're going to have to help me on that one. Stephanie Pacifici from Hurley Boxing Club taking on in the blue corner, and that will be Leonie Hall from North County Boxing Club. And this is they call it a senior division battle. These girls are all ages 17 to 35 in this class, and this is a semi-final bout for 119 pounds. Stephanie Pacifici is in the red corner with the off blue top and the white shorts, and Leonie Hall is in blue. And we are off and running in round number 1. 3 rounds of boxing and a sharp left from Leonie Hall. Gets things going for her, working the body.
38 pounds, 17 to 35-year-old female bout semifinal. Moving to the finals.
And a very tough exchange, very close. A hard right hand from Stephanie Pacifici. Pacifici. And this is a very tough exchange going on here. A great look at these boxers. From high above the airship Patrick Campbell. And back to boxing action now against the rope is Pacifici, with Leonie Hall continuing the pressure. And now we'll stop, and Leonie Hall is going to be cautioned for pushing. Hard right hand lands from Pacifici. Leonie Hall just missed with a right cross. That would have done some damage.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at
And a good exchange against the rope. Fighting her way out now is Stephanie.
say hello to Erica.
And here comes Leonie Hall once again. She's got good form. Her gloves are up high. She came in with a hard right cross. And then a left hook that has just caught Stephanie across the chin. And now we may have a little bit of blood showing from Stephanie. Red to be sure. And now that will be the end of round number one. We'll get a closer look at the boxers and see if that was indeed the case. A very tough exchange for these boxers. And a hard-fought first round. Just a little bit red, not any blood showing that I can see from Stephanie Pacifici. By the time the fight's over with, I think I'll figure it out. Catching her breath and doing a good job out of Hurley Boxing Club. Again, boxers from all over the United States coming in here. And here's a look at Leonie Hall out of North County. Got caught a couple of times, but she landed when she needed to and may have gotten the slight edge here in round number one. So round two just about to get underway. Seconds about to be asked to leave. And we should be underway in round number two of these 119-pound fighters. Right where we left off, Leonie Hall continues the pressure against Stephanie. Stephanie, no slouch, is getting in some shots. Comes up with a hard left hand to battle out of that clinch. And Leonie Hall backs away and then encroaches again. Jab from Stephanie Pacifici. And now she'll be cautioned for holding down the head of Leonie Hall. Both fighters keeping their distance, and now coming in, closing in, working the inside is Leonie Hall, and she'll wisely back out. And a tough exchange going on. Crowd is clearly watching this bout. Sharp left hand, or right hand rather, from Stephanie. Caught Leonie Hall. Working the body is Leonie Hall, and working upstairs is Stephanie. As round number two is winding down. A fairly uneventful exchange between the two girls. Again, we're at 119 pounds. About the only time you can get the weight out of a female boxer. (17 to 35-year-olds in this semifinal bout. And round number two comes to an end. And that one is going to be a very difficult one to score. Well, I'll best leave it to the judges, as nobody really came out on top of any particular exchange, both getting some glancing blows. And Stephanie has avoided further damage to her nose in that round. And this will give us an opportunity to say a special thanks to TV Pro Gear for their continuing support of amateur boxing in this 3rd annual Desert Showdown. So a tough battle to score right here. You can't rule anyone out. Both have been equally effective, I would say. Seconds now leaving round number 3. The final round about to get underway. Referee Rick Lay from Irvine gets us underway in the final round of this semifinal bout. And now, as if she'd been storing it all this time, Leonie Hall out of North County opens it up and landed a couple of good sharp left hooks and then follows it with a right uppercut or a right overhand. Both fighters being cautioned. Back underway. Leonie Hall just misses, follows with a right overhand that caught Stephanie, and those are the little points that add up quickly. So if you had to pick somebody right now, and I'd better watch out because Stephanie has something still up her sleeve, and this is going to be a very hotly contested, a very difficult decision for the judges. But Leonie Hall keeps racking up the little points. And that could pay off big time as this fight comes to a close. Hard overhand right by Leonie Hall. Follows up with another one and now goes to the body to work. And Stephanie is just not protecting the lower body, and you can score points there just as well. A good crowd on hand watching this semifinal bout as Leonie Hall continues to work the body, puts a combo together to go upstairs, and then they're in a clinch, and then a sharp jab, and then an overhand right got through from Stephanie. Back again. This would be a very tough bout to have to judge. Some sharp throws being thrown. And now up against the rope is Stephanie. And Leonie Hall is not pressing the issue. Content with sitting back. And that'll be the end of the bout. Round number 3 comes to a close, and this semifinal bout will have a decision forthcoming in this 119-pound battle. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we will have this semifinal decision. You're watching the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week from Trump 29 Casino and the Spotlight Showroom. And we'll be right back right after this.
The Thermal Boxing Club and Desert Showdown would like to thank Dan I of All-Star Entertainment Productions, a true champion for the youth and amateur boxing. The 3rd annual Desert Showdown would not have been possible without the efforts of Dan I and All-Star Entertainment Productions, proud sponsors of the 2004 Desert Showdown.
Welcome back to the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week from Trump 29 Casino and the Spotlight Showroom. 3 rings of amateur boxing going on simultaneously. We are waiting the decision, and we have it. Out of the red corner, Stephanie Pacifici out of Hurley Boxing Club wins the semifinal bout at 119-pound senior division and will advance into the finals. And I said that was a tough one to score, a tough battle to be sure, and we've got a lot more just like it coming up. We will take a quick break, come back with more boxing. This portion of the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week is brought to you in part by Regency Insurance and Financial Group. Meeting your financial needs in health, dental, life, workers' compensation, and disability. Come in for a consultation and receive a free keychain. Regency Insurance and Financial Group, proud sponsors of the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. Welcome back to the Spotlight Showroom at Trump 29 Casino for the 3rd annual Desert Showdown on the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. Rob Osmond with you with All-Star Entertainment Productions. This bout at 106 pounds, 17 to 35-year-olds, open category semifinal. Out of the blue corner is Jesse Ramirez from High Desert Boxing Club. Against the red corner, Marco Rangel from Arizona. Boxing clubs from all over the United States at this, the 3rd annual Desert Showdown. Round number 1 is underway. Jesse Ramirez wearing the white shirt and white shorts against Marco Rangel, who's wearing the blue top and the black shorts. Some tough slugging and perhaps a low blow by Jesse Ramirez. Being cautioned for such and then going back at it. These are 106-pound kids, 17 to 35. And it's an open category, meaning they've had more than 10 fights, and it certainly looks that these guys have probably had quite a few bouts over that mark. They continue to size each other up. And now on the pursuit is Marco Rangel. Marco Rangel now finds himself back in the corner, a quick escape by Jesse Ramirez, and then a hard right hand landed from Marco Rangel. And now wrapped up. And these boxers are not afraid to get in there and mix it up. They're looking for that opening, and they know how to put them together. So a tough flurry and a speedy flurry from Jesse Ramirez and a quick exchange.
Also, it goes with the word
not too many points being exchanged, actually, or being tallied up a little bit. There's a hard right hand from Marco Rangel. Marco Rangel is pouring it on now.
Of the Desert Showdown. You know, Tyler has been here every year of the Desert Showdown. And that's
sharp right hand to the midsection from Jesse Ramirez. And that'll net him some points. The white part of the glove goes on the scoring section. And here's a good flurry going on now. And coming out on top. And round 1 will come to an end.
So if you need anything in boxing,
and a very difficult one to score will give us an opportunity to say a special thanks to Dan I of All-Star Entertainment Productions for his continuing support of the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week and the 3rd annual Desert Showdown. And youth boxing certainly appreciates the efforts and the support of Dan I, as does All-Star Entertainment Productions.
make sure you secure whatever you need in terms of the way of boxing.
So a semifinal bout going on right here. Jesse Ramirez and Marco Rangel. Jesse Ramirez, or this is Marco Rangel actually, and now Jesse Ramirez. Jesse Ramirez is a very quick boxer, has got very fast hands and will look to use the most of them. And Marco Rangel is the precision boxer that wants a little bit of power, or has a little bit of power, and he's looking for it. And Rangel would just as soon get out of this mix-up, as the fast hands of Jesse Ramirez can hit you a few times before you know you've been hit once. And here comes Marco Rangel pouring it on. In a so far relatively uneventful bout. But it's a semi-final, and these guys are both being cautious and want to save just a little bit for the finals. You can't be totally exhausted going into the finals. But there comes a point when somebody has to step up and start throwing the punches. And right now, Marco Rangel is continuing the pursuit of Jesse Ramirez. Jesse Ramirez again out of the high desert.
Hawaii. It's a long trip to Southern California. And we just thank everyone.
Mixing it up now. No clear advantage to either one of these boxers at the moment. And that could all change. 106-pound boxers tend to be very fast. And when they find their opening, they'll take it.
We want to thank the following officials who showed up to make the desert
So back up, wrapped up now.
Bob Oseguera from Los Angeles, Edwin S.
Marco Rangel now coming in. He's got Ramirez against the ropes. Ramirez able to get himself out. Rangel with good protection, fired off a good left hook that landed. And that'll rattle you around a little bit, even at 106 pounds. And then a sharp, crisp jab finds its way through the gloves of Ramirez. So Rangel is beginning to put some points together. But it's a relatively even bout, and those last ones, do not forget, those last ones do not count. We have 3 rings going on, so there's lots of noises happening as one round ends at another ring and another round begins and so forth. So they have different sounds at each of these rings, and the fighters must be accustomed to the sound that they're fighting at in that ring, in that particular ring, at that particular time, and not where they were the fight before. And that can sometimes be difficult, and Marco Rangel guilty of a late punch at the end of that round. Jesse Ramirez bore the brunt of it, and now is recovering. A little bit of blood flowing now from the nose of Marco Rangel, or of Jesse Ramirez rather, in the blue corner. And I have a feeling that came from that last punch, because I did not see anything red coming from Jesse Ramirez's nose until then. And now Marco Rangel, who got away with it, is now following up with a quick flurry of punches on his own. And Ramirez answers back, and Ramirez lands a hard overhand right that gets the crowd going. And this is a tough flurry, and Ramirez rocked a couple of good shots, and then Rangel will slip. And back to action we go again in round number 2. And now Ramirez coming out on the worst end of that, and then fires back a couple shots of his own that land for points. So Ramirez finding his mark as well, as the two are just letting all go. To separate themselves in this fight. And that was a hard shot, and the mouthpiece comes flying out of Rangel's mouth, and that shot will rattle your jaw to be sure. They'll rinse that off and put it back in. But that was a solid shot that ripped the mouthpiece right out of Rangel's mouth. So surely that was a point for Jesse Ramirez, who's capitalizing on it now. Ramirez finds himself back against the ropes. And both fighters being instructed back into their corners. Back to boxing now. Our referee in the ring is John D'Angelo from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. Makes the trek out here because of his support for youth boxing as well. And now Jesse Ramirez has landed a couple quick shots, and Rangel has had his bell rung now on a couple of occasions. And Jesse Ramirez, that quickness is really reaping some benefits for him, as his punches have found their mark more than once tonight so far. And I'm certain that neither boxer wanted to spend this much energy in a semifinal boxing match. And now Rangel pushing the issue as the round comes to an end. And once again, Rangel having problems recognizing the fact that the bell means stop. He continues to fight, and that was much to the ire of Jesse Ramirez this time. You'll let him get away with it once, but not twice. So we'll have a decision coming up here momentarily for us at the 106-pound open senior category semifinal. You're watching the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week from Trump 29 Casino, and we'll be right back after these messages.
All-Star Entertainment Productions and the 2004 Desert Showdown would like to thank Ralph Romero and the Thermal Boxing Club for supporting amateur boxing. As the promoter director of Thermal Boxing Club, Ralph Romero was responsible for putting it all together. The third annual Desert Showdown would not have been possible without the efforts of Ralph Romero and the Thermal Boxing Club.
Welcome back to the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. The winner of our bout is about to be announced from the third annual Desert Showdown, the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. This bout is a 106-pound event of 17 and 35-year-olds in the open category semifinals. Marco Rangel in the red corner and Jesse Ramirez in the blue corner. And our winner will go on to the finals. And it's going to be Jesse Ramirez from High Desert Boxing Club. He will advance into the finals in a very, very tough bout at 106 pounds. That'll give us an opportunity to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more boxing for you. You're watching the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week from Spotlight Showroom at Trump 29 Casino. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back to the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. Rob Osmond with you with All-Star Entertainment Productions. Glad to be at the Spotlight Showroom in Trump 29 Casino for the third annual Desert Showdown. And the bout we are about to watch is the 125-pound senior division open class semifinal. 17 to 35-year-olds. In the blue corner, Rene Anaya from the Los Angeles Youth Activity Center taking on Gilbert Amaro from Santa Clarita Boxing Club. And again, this is a semifinal bout. Round number one is underway. Gilbert Amaro is in red, and Rene Anaya is in blue. And both fighters off and running early on. Again, 125 pounds. And this is typically a very contested battle. And this one's living up to its expectations as well. Both boxers sizing each other up as typical in the first rounds. Tough exchange. And Rene Anaya.
This guy is a boxer too, by the way. He's from Hawaii.
Is throwing the sharp jabs and now working on the inside, and just missing was Rene Anaya.
Report to ringside, ring two to the announcer's table. He has won the Spotlight medal. There he is. Jonathan, what do you have to say about this Desert Showdown?
So not much going on right now early, and Anaya just misses with the left hook.
Thank you very much.
A fairly uneventful fight thus far. Anaya has scored with a few jabs, but that's just about it. And now both fighters go down, knock heads. And that's why amateurs wear padding, or at least I hope so. There's a hard right hand that may have scored, depends on how you look at it and your angle of the referees at ringside.
You can count on the mouthpiece doctor. He makes them for boxing.
And now Gilbert Amaro from Santa Clarita finds himself in the corner, battling his way out, looking for that opening spot, and then just missing. A very defensive bout so far. at the end of round number 1. Flip a coin. Rene Anaya from LA in the blue corner was the recipient of a few jabs that may have landed for points. And then he may have scored on a hard overhand roundhouse, if you will, that could have glanced Gilbert Amaro. So we'll find out what bearing that has. Over in the red corner, Gilbert Amaro from Santa Clarita getting some instructions, and he was throwing some very sharp, crisp jabs, as is typical of Santa Clarita boxers. And a good look at him as the seconds will be asked out, and we will get round number 2 underway. And Gilbert Amaro comes out firing. Misses with a jab, and then now follows up and gets roundhoused into the corner by Anaya. Anaya missing with an uppercut. May have landed with a left hook, and now is firing the jab straight forward and for points against Gilbert Amaro. And now Amaro, unrelentless, continues his pursuit of Anaya, but Anaya has already racked up a few points. But now all that can change real quick. Working on the inside is Anaya. Anaya now goes to the outside, just misses an uppercut from Amaro. Lands a left hook to the body and then comes back with a right and misses, as does Amaro. Amaro lands with a body shot after having to reach to go get it. And those punches, you tend to feel them in the next round. And now the fighters become entangled. They're separated and going back to business. And real quick off of it was Rene Anaya. Anaya being cautioned for hitting with the palm of the glove. Only the white portion of the glove can land for points. Anything else will get you a caution. You'll get a couple of those, and then you're going to start losing points. So the fighter's looking for that big punch, nobody going with the jabs, and you go with the jabs and the points follow rapidly. That's all the judges are looking for. White part of the glove on the target zone. It doesn't matter how hard you throw it or if you knock the guy down or draw blood even. It only matters if you put the white part of the glove in the target zone, which is above the neck and in front above the belt. Put those points there, and you got it made. But everybody wants to be the big boxer and go for the big stuff, so this round will come to an end with, I believe, a slight advantage coming to Rene Anaya. And we'll see at the end of the fight if that's the case. Needless to say, neither fighter has really separated themselves. The reference to Rene Anaya winning is purely unofficial. And over in the red corner, Gilbert Amaro from Santa Clarita. A little bit of worry in his eye. I don't know if that's exactly the case, but he's getting his instructions, and we'll have another round of boxing for him. Seconds are out. And we are underway. Back to work they go. Gilbert Amaro in red, Rene Anaya in blue. Rene Anaya out of the Los Angeles Youth Activity Center. And Gilbert Amaro out of Santa Clarita Boxing Club. Santa Clarita has got some great boxers that come out of that stable. Good program over there, as does the LA Youth Activity Center. So a hard shot now by Gilbert Amaro, and Anaya will have no part of it. And a good effective counter punch by Gilbert Amaro continues to back up Rene Anaya.
Dr. Al Herford and Dr. Kyle Beard.
Anaya's got some good moves and gets himself out of trouble. And he needs to go back to throwing those straight jabs, and he's just not doing it. And trying to make up for perhaps lost ground is Gilbert Amaro, trying to make something happen here in the third. And now Amaro and Anaya are entangled. Amaro goes to the body, comes up to the head, and may have caught a scoring blow. And then a sharp left hook landed nicely by Rene Anaya. Then he's cautioned once again for hitting with his forearm. And then a sharp uppercut rocks the head back of Gilbert Amaro. And that may take his toll. And now once again Anaya going to the jab. Both fighters trying to make the most of their game plan here, and it appears to be the same game plan as the fight comes to a close. And we'll find out who's going to come up on top. Again, this is a semifinal bout. Winner goes on to fight in the finals. And we'll have our decision coming up here in just a moment. In the meantime, we will take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have that decision. You're watching the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week from the Spotlight Showroom at Trump 29 Casino. We'll be right back right after this.
The Thermal Boxing Club and Desert Showdown would like to thank Jessa Printing for their support of amateur boxing, always leaving a lasting impression. At Jessa Printing, it's not just ink on paper, it's a total package from concept to completion. Jessa Printing, proud sponsor of the 2004 Desert Showdown.
Welcome back to the Spotlight Showroom at Trump 29 Casino on the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. We've just watched a 125-pound battle for senior division semifinal in the open category. Two experienced boxers going at it. Going to be a very difficult decision. Rene Anaya in the blue corner, Gilbert Amaro in the red corner. We are awaiting that decision and find out who will go on. Rene Anaya again in the blue corner from the Los Angeles Youth Activity Center, and Gilbert Amaro in the red corner is out of Santa Clarita Boxing Club. And both fighters put on a good show, trying to survive into tomorrow, or until the finals rather. And here comes the decision. Going to the finals is Rene Anaya from the Los Angeles Youth Activity Center. Walks away with a victory and a shot at winning a belt. A very difficult decision, to be sure. Coming up next, more boxing on the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week from Trump 29 Casino in the beautiful Spotlight Showroom. We will be right back right after this.
The Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week is brought to you by Carl's Jr. When it comes to big, juicy, charbroiled burgers, the name of the game is Carl's Jr.
From the Spotlight Showroom at Trump 29 Casino, this is the Carl's Jr. Time Warner Cable Game of the Week. You're watching the third annual Desert Showdown Amateur Boxing. Rob Osmond with you with All-Star Entertainment Productions. Coming up next, a battle royale at the 125-pound senior category in open division semifinal bout. The competitors for tonight. Out of the red corner, Francisco Leal from Imperial Police Activity League. about to do battle in this open semifinal against local favorite Johnny Perez from Coachella Boxing Club. Johnny Perez has the crowd rallied behind him. He really puts on a show, and we expect to see that tonight. Johnny Perez in the blue corner is wearing the black trunks, and Francisco Leal from Imperial has the red trunks. And we will be getting things underway very shortly. Our referee in charge is John D'Angelo from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. And one of these guys is moving on into the finals, and we're about to find out. Lee Espinoza, trainer extraordinaire out of the Coachella Boxing Club, and his support staff is nothing but spectacular. And there's the announcement of Johnny Perez, and that has the crowd going. And that can be a little intimidating for Francisco Leal. So round one about to get underway in this semifinal bout at 125 pounds. Both very experienced boxers. Johnny Perez, known for his quick lightning hands with a lot of power, and wants to make sure he gets into the finals. So both boxers will be taking some extra precautions. Johnny Perez with a hard right hand sent back Francisco Leal's head early on in the first round. And Johnny Perez with that typical low attack and then explodes. And he'll switch often from left-handed to right-hand, and then that can throw an opponent off in a heartbeat in and of itself. So Francisco Leal is going to feel the wrath of that as Johnny Perez continues to come forward, and now landing fairly solid shots against Francisco Leal. Johnny Perez sizing up Leal. And I tell you, I've spent a little bit of time talking to Johnny Perez, and he is one dynamic boxer. I love his attitude, and I love his style of boxing. He is just in your face with lightning quick hands and a jab that will make you wonder if you'd been hit or not. In the meantime, the points continue to rack up in favor of Johnny Perez, and this time he goes low and slips. And they're going to give him a standing A count, even though it looked like he slipped. Francisco Leal may have got a glove in on him, and Johnny Perez in the unfamiliar position of getting a standing A count, and look for him to come back with a vengeance. Again, you don't get points off the standing A count. Johnny Perez picking up some more points there on that exchange. You don't get points for a standing A count. You don't get points for a knockdown. You simply get points for putting the glove in the target area. So Johnny Perez is coming away with round number one, having been apparently knocked down. And the crowd is clearly with Johnny Perez. Francisco Leal with a good left hand in there that sent Johnny Perez to the canvas. Getting some instruction in his corner. And that'll give us a chance to give a special thanks to TV Pro Gear for their continuing sponsorship of All-Star Entertainment Productions and the third annual Desert Showdown. A good look now from high above is Johnny Perez getting instruction from Lee Espinoza and staff. And I think I just read Johnny's lips where he said he was pushed.